Let's bring in Fox News contributor Douglas Murray to the conversation. Douglas, good to see you.
Good
Welcome
to be here.
back from England, or if you're over there, whatever, the homeland. Listen, we see a lot of these protests for criminals. This is one of the first ones we've seen in defense of a veteran who people feel are unjustly being prosecuted. Does this work?
I very much hope so. I mean, as you say, there have been plenty of protests for endless numbers of thugs and others in this country. I don't see why it's not possible for people to come out and protest in favour of a young man who clearly didn't get onto the subway that day in order to kill somebody. You know, there's going to be a trial, but just look at things like that, like the perp walk that he was put through there. Look at that, all done for the cameras, all done to satisfy a mob. How often in this city do we see any kind of treatment like that for the countless numbers of people in this city who make life unsafe for all of us day in, day out? They don't get perp walk, they don't get, you know, the public humiliation in handcuffs and all of that. No, no, no. They saved that for the Marine vet.
I think that this is something, just the beginning of something much bigger.
I hope so.
I want to move on to the college professor. This college professor, she was fired, well, she was put on leave. She was admonished by Hunter College after cursing out and harassing pro-life students on Hunter College's campus. But it didn't end there. She was fired after she, wielded a machete, there you go, at a New York Post reporter. Now the NYPD is she allegedly threatened to chop up the reporter. And here, look at this video from the New York Post. The New York Post reporter knocked on her apartment door, but it didn't end there. She goes outside. This is the dash cam footage, also from the New York Post. It shows her chasing the reporter with the machete. There's a photographer there on the left-hand side of the screen. She's chasing him, and then she chased the reporter. Hunter College released a statement saying, quote, Hunter College strongly condemns the unacceptable actions of Shalene Rodriguez and has taken immediate action. Rodriguez has been relieved of her duties at Hunter College effective immediately and will not be returning to teach at the school. Fox reached out to the professor. I don't think we went to her apartment. We have not heard back yet. This is a bigger story.
Yeah.
You get in here. I've been talking.
No, go ahead. I asked the question. You love the story.
But to me, how many of these individuals, machete wielding or not, are in our college system educating young people, and how many have been educated by potential machete wielding nutbags?
Yeah.
Excuse me, or nut jobs.
Nutbags, nut jobs, it all works for her.
Who are in the workforce now.
You know, the interesting thing, Hunter College obviously realized this is a bad look for their employee. I'm glad they picked up on that. I'm glad they picked up on the fact that Miss Rodriguez chasing journalists down a street with a machete doesn't work so well for them. They're quite slow learners, places like Hunter College, because they put up with her doing all that stuff with the pro-life students and all of that. Here's the interesting thing that underlies all of this. People like Rodriguez, they've just had it easy all their lives. They've just sailed through academia in America. And these are the people, remember, who have kept on saying, as she does in that video with the pro-life students, that what they are doing by handing out leaflets is violence. I mean, she says, I suppose you're going to get onto the trans people next and you'll do violence against them. Well, actually, this isn't violence. This is what we used to call speech. Remember that? And free speech. It's almost as if we're in a country where that's allowed. But not in the eyes of people like Rodriguez, not in the eyes of many other professors in this country. They believe that the rights of conservatives to speak in this country is violence. So if that's violence, what is putting a machete to someone's throat? If only we had a word that hadn't been diminished in recent years to describe just that kind of behavior from this fine ex-employee of Hunter College.
Well said. I mean, the hypocrisy here is
unbelievable.
So rich.
Yeah.
And again, to Dagan's point, this is permeating through colleges and universities across our country.
Yeah.
And no wonder you're coming out with such radical, young folks. This, as I've mentioned, is commie camp.
She was part of an organization that a violent F-Cops movement, anarchist group, that spread graffiti all over New York City. She called herself a black Marxist.
If you're a Marxist, and also particularly if you're a self-proclaimed anarchist, you should definitely not be on a college campus. No, these are people who want to tear everything apart from their own lovely job prospects. And they never want to pull apart the apartment they're in, where they're pumping pollution into the minds of young Americans. They never want to take that apart. They just want to take everything else in American society apart. Well, these are symbols that something's wrong. It's a shame we have to get right up to the machete at the throat for people in this country to realize this is one of the problems we're up against.
Douglas Murray, well said. Thank you.
You're the
Thanks for joining us.
best.